for it, find it, make it your own. It's the Get Thrifty Podcast.
Hey Thrifties, welcome back to the Get Thrifty podcast brought to you by ARC Thrift Stores. ARC Thrift Stores is a nonprofit thrift store chain, and I am your host, Maggie Civic, and we are all about sharing everything that has to do with shopping secondhand. So if you're part of our unique thrift culture, we would love it if you contacted us, and we would love to promote your business, your social channels, and share your stories and advice with our listeners. You can find us on Instagram and YouTube at ARC Thrift. Send us a DM and let's chat. Ladies and gentlemen, return guest joining us, a repeat offender, Mr. Riley from Legend_Vintage. We're super excited to have him back. He is at school, but he did agree to join the podcast today and give us a little more of his time. He's up to no good out there in Boulder, and we can't wait to hear all about it. Riley started a vintage clothing resale business at the age of 12, turning a love for fashion and sustainability into a growing venture. Now a student at the University of Colorado, he continues to expand his business while exploring new opportunities in entrepreneurship. His journey has been fueled by curiosity, creativity, and a hands-on approach to bringing ideas to life. He's passionate about giving pieces new life and creating unique style experiences for his customers. Whether he's sourcing vintage finds or testing new business strategies, he thrives on innovation and adaptability. Riley, welcome back.
How's it going? I'm glad to be back.
I'm so excited to have you as a YouTube guest because I've talked about you on multiple podcasts. You joined me for different interviews, but I don't feel like people really get to see you. So this is nice.
Yeah, no, I like this setup. It's really, really cool.
It's so fun. And I love it that you're always behind the camera, but you are really this big personality. People know you, especially around Denver, around Boulder. So having the visual of you is pretty great. Now, what are you going to do when you get stopped at the thrift store next time you're there and they're going to be like, oh my God, are you the man? Are you Legend Vintage? How are you going to react? Are you going to be a good star or no?
Yeah, always. I feel like you're your own personal billboard. So when you're going out there, networking is key. So just going out there and talking to new people, meeting new people, you never know what business ventures are out there.
Mm-hmm. Opportunities abound. So tell us how people find you on socials so that they can follow along today as they listen. I don't want anyone to miss out on the opportunity to follow your socials.
Yeah, so I'm currently on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. It's just legend_vintage_. Yeah.
Easy peasy. And you can always Google you and find you. Or if you're walking around the Leeds campus at CU Boulder, you can find Riley as well. Speaking of which, let's talk about, and we may have to show it in the show notes. Maybe I can share my screen even. Your mom posted a really adorable picture of you the other day. Did you see this? Uh-oh.
I think I did.
Had to ask, what's the story? I mean, so cute. You have been kind of connected to the ARC brand as a small child. So describe this post that she tagged me in. I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, look at Riley. He's like 10.
Yeah, I mean, ARC is, kind of been like a second home to me. My mom always used to do the commercials for ARC and stuff like that. So I literally my earliest memories was running into ARC during the Halloween season, throwing masks on. It was like a playground to me. So I've kind of always been in the thrift store kind of scene. And it's kind of cool to see those photos, 10, 15 years later.
Yeah, it definitely comes full circle. I love it that, you feel like ARC is a second home to you. I mean, that's pretty special. You grew up in kind of the more South Metro area. So what store was she bringing you to back in those days? Was it on the south side of town or
Yeah,
Aurora?
Parker Landing. That was the closest one to us. Really do love that store still to today. I go there quite a bit.
The manager over there is Scott Bretthauer now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Didn't he transfer there?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
I love Scott. That's awesome.
The best. He always has a great relationship with resellers too, and keeps an eye out for the things you guys are looking for. So that's always good. Let's talk about, and we did this the last time we interviewed you on the just audio version, but shoes was really a gateway for you. So kind of give us your backstory again about how you found this life and some of those big hopes and dreams for this year.
Yeah, I mean, my parents never really gave me money to go, spend money on like, high-end shoes or clothes and that kind of stuff. And that was kind of my passion. I was really into that stuff in middle school. So I kind of had to find my own way to make my own money, to have that stuff for myself. So yeah, I started with shoes. I would, resell shoes from Nike when they would release, or, stuff like that, or even just going to thrift stores and trying to find shoes or just clothes to flip for a quick buck. And then once I started getting bigger, I realized that this could be a pretty good business for me, at least through college.
I want to know like the self-taught aspect of this business for you because okay, mom and dad don't help out, but you are going to find a way to buy these things and get creative about it. So, oh, I've never asked you this. Is there like that first pair of shoes that you sold that really got you hooked into this?
So, I mean, I was always into shoes, but yeah, I mean, I think my first like cool item or like pair of shoes I ever found were a pair of like Stephen Curry shoes. I forgot what model they were, but this was back in like 2016 when, that whole, Golden State era was going crazy. And I sold those, I believe, on Poshmark, and I was so happy when I received my $42.53. I was jumping out of my socks.
And then it's just all begins from there. So you do sell on Poshmark. What other places? What other
I don't sell on Poshmark anymore.
okay.
Especially for clothes, I do mostly on my website, which you can find at legendvintage.com. And then I mainly do like in person. Like I have a private showroom up
Mhm.
here at Boulder, so I do a lot of private showrooms with either just people that want to come check it out, or athletes and stuff like that. And then I also do a lot of pop-ups around the Denver metro area and Boulder area.
Well, let's talk about the private showroom because that's kind of a newer development and something that, is pretty exclusive. So if
Mhm.
someone listening to this podcast is visiting Denver and they want to check out your like amazing collection, how do they reach you to do that? They can just
Yeah,
follow.
just shoot me a DM on Instagram would probably be the best case for me to reach you.
Very cool. All right. So one of the things I love about you, Riley, is some of your content includes like crazy cases of like approaching people on the street or, going and checking out someone's insane basement or garage. And you kind of, document the conversation and all of that. How'd that start? Tell us some stories. Give us some background on that.
Yeah, so that's kind of just networking, going around seeing, people or older people wearing, clothes that I collect, just approaching them in a nice manner and, saying, hey, I love your shirt, I love this. If you happen to have any more, I mean, would you sell it? That kind of stuff. And then just getting their contact and then following up with them. I also have people that will, message me through email and stuff like that, saying, they got some stuff they want me to come by to check out. So it's kind of cool.
I mean, some of your content is hilarious. Like you go to the Midwest a couple times a year, your family's from there and you've got some connection in Chicago and all that. But you have had like some insane stories with people that are like obsessed with, what was the one story about the guy that collected like all the NASCAR stuff?
That one was really cool. Yeah, that one. And this is a crazy story. So it was me and my grandpa. We were at Menards, I believe that's what it's called on the Midwest.
Yeah.
And we were just getting salt because it was, getting winter time. And then I see this old guy walk out with a all over print NASCAR shirt, and I didn't have my glasses at the time, which would have been fun to get that clip. But I went up to him. I was like, "Hey, man, I love that shirt." And he was like, "Oh, thank you, man." I was like, "Where'd you get it?" He's like, "Oh, dude, I have so many of these." And his wife's like, "Oh, we have piles that don't fit him." And I'm like, "Would you sell any of them?" And she was like, "Yeah, we would sell them." And I got their contact, called their home number, like the an hour later, went over, and yeah, rest was history. You have to watch the whole video.
Yeah. How many shirts did this man have?
This guy probably, and this was like a pretty average batch, but he probably had about 80 shirts that were like strictly NASCAR and country singing singer shirts.
I mean, but how did you know? I mean, you just don't seem like a NASCAR dude to me. Like, how did you know that these things were valuable?
Well, I mean, it's kind of just like in the clothing vintage area. It's NASCAR is always sought after. I kept a couple of the shirts, but most of them I did sell. But I just, I knew. I mean, I knew the graphic. I knew it was older. I could tell by the stitching.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
And what advice would you have for people who are in the process of teaching them? Like, how did you do that? Can you like share some sites that are good for reference points to teach these kiddos about, or it doesn't even matter how old you are, about what sort of things are valuable and why?
Yeah. So I grew up in the time, I'm making myself sound old, even though I'm not. I grew up when we didn't have all this AI stuff. So I had to learn the hard way. I had to watch a lot of YouTube videos, had to look up certain tags and that kind of stuff. So I'd say for people that are trying to get into the vintage clothing or just clothing in general, they have all these AI tools, which is great. So like Google Lens is a great tool to look up prices and stuff. But if you just want to go to the more like generic way, I'd say just start watching YouTube videos. I got into vintage because of a buddy of mine. He's pretty big on YouTube. His name is Jacob Starr, and he does a lot of the thrift store finds. And he goes inside thrift stores, bins. He goes to Thailand. He goes everywhere to look for these vintage shirts. Yeah.
Very cool. And I think it's interesting. And you started to talk about your glasses, but this is a tool. We've talked about it multiple times. Let people know again, these meta glasses, they're always on sale. Like saw them on Black Friday. Crazy. I got a pair for my agency to use. What other tools are you recommending? Is there AI stuff besides the meta glasses? What else you're using to kind of be savvy about these prices and identify these amazing vintage finds?
Yeah, I mean, for people that are trying to get in the content space, I'd say meta glasses are definitely a cool tool to use. Um, for tools wise, I mean, AI is getting pretty crazy. So I'd say, stick with, Google Lens or even like the eBay Lens. It's a great tool to use to
Oh, so you
figure
don't
out.
recommend the AI, the chat stuff?
No, no, I do. I do. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I recommend you. I mean, because AI is the future. So I learned that now. That way, when it starts, building off of it, it gets easier. But the eBay Lens tools or the Google Lens tools are
Mhm.
great tools to figure out what your item is or even like what it's worth.
So interesting. Are you worried about AI at all?
Um, how? I mean, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, like so many people, are worried it's going to take their job or they're going to be eliminated or they're going to be less relevant. They have some fear around AI tools. I mean, in your kind of business, it's probably not as scary, but
I definitely think AI is going to take over a lot of jobs.
Mhm.
But I would recommend people start using AI now, and getting used to it and learning it. Because if you learn it and then in 10 years from now, you can adapt to, that kind of stuff rather than you not using it. And then in 10 years, you're kind of left in the dust.
Yeah. Is it banned at your school? My son is always like, Mom, I can't even get onto those sites like at school.
Actually, our professors encourage it. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, so they admit it. They say it's the future. It's even in coding. My one of my roommates he's a coding, and he's like all of our professors say that there's gonna be no jobs for us in 10 years because AI is just gonna take over the whole coding industry. Um,
Interesting.
I find that pretty crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And I'm
our in
very
business for sure, they want us to use it just for as a tool because it's going to be at our front desks in 10,
Mhm.
15 years for us
Yeah.
to use. Why not? Or why can't we use it in school?
Yeah, absolutely. What an interesting take. What are you studying right now? What's the big thing? What do you
So
this
I'm
month?
in the beginning stages of leads, so they call it mods. So I'm doing, like principles of accounting, principles of marketing, principles of finance, operation management, world of business, that kind of stuff. They're tough
Interesting.
classes and they're fast paced. I actually got a midterm in about a week from now, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's an exciting time, but what advice would you give? Because I mean, I'm sure it's hard for you. You are a success, you have a huge following, you're a successful reseller, you have a reputation, especially in our market and other markets as well. Is it hard to like get up and go to school every day when you've got this, side hustle that's very successful?
Yeah, it's definitely a balance. There's some owners where I'm like, I don't even want to wake up. I'd say a great way is to overcome that. And it might be tough for some people, but really just going to the gym. I mean, even if it's for 30 minutes or 40 minutes out of the
Interesting.
day, just I like to go at nighttime after my day just to kind of decompress, you know, work on your body, work on yourself, and it really helps.
Great advice. And people don't often, they forget that. And when you're trying to balance a business and going to school,
Mhm.
that's probably not easy. And your family loves this, right? They're totally supportive.
Oh yeah, my dad, he actually was the one that when I first started it, he was a little skeptical because a 12-year-old running around with hundreds of dollars trying to buy stuff and sell it, it can be a little sketchy at first, but my dad and my mom were supportive and they trusted me, and yeah, they're my number one supporters for sure.
That's awesome. I love it that you still give a shout out. And I love it that your mom is still posting baby pictures of you. That makes my day. Let's talk about the pop-up scene in Denver. You're ramping up for that. The spring will probably hit hard, summer even bigger. What's in the works? What can people look forward to? What should they put on their calendars to attend that you'll be at?
Yeah, so this is still early, but I might be hosting my own vintage event this summer. It's still in the works. We'll see. But yeah, I'd say just for standard pop-ups, the Laramie Square Market is always good. They pop up, pretty much every weekend in the summertime. The flea market's great. I don't know if you've ever been there. The Denver Mile High Flea Market, that's a good one. That's always
Yeah.
fun.
Wait, do
Um,
they do actual pop-up vintage people at the flea market as well? Is it like
they do,
advertised
correct.
that way? Wow,
Yeah,
tell us about that.
they do a little bit of everything. So the flea market, I mean, you got, clothes, bags, food, everything. But I
Mhm.
do know quite a few vintage sellers that have their own spot there that will sell.
During summer. Wow. Now,
Yeah.
are they pushing that? We've had them on this podcast before talking about different programs they've been up to, but gosh, that would be a really great marketing opportunity. Or is it just you guys as vendors that are really pushing the vintage end of things?
I'd say it's the vendors, because getting into vintage right away is very tough. You have to almost curate these pieces because vintage is not like you're gonna have one item 1,000 times. You're gonna have 1,000 items that are completely different.
Wow.
So
One
curating
of
these
one. Yeah.
items, exactly, they're all one of one. I mean, you might find two of the same shirts, but one might be faded, one might have a little paint splatter. They all have their own stories. So, curating these pieces is very hard. And I feel like as vintage sellers, they try their best to bring it out there and bring people in.
Mhm. And you really, one of the reasons that we've utilized you at ARC is you have an eye for some really unique things that to the naked eye, like even myself, I'm like, how is that worth anything? And you're like, no, no, no. It doesn't matter that it has a nick or a tear or whatever,
Mhm.
or a stain. It's still valuable. Can you kind of walk us through that? Because I think that takes a special person and a lot of experience. Can you
Yeah.
walk us through that a little?
Yeah, so I mean, especially in the clothing vintage scene, thrashed and faded is super in right now. I mean, I have some clothing pieces that I can show you that are literally held on by pins, like pieces of garment are like falling apart.
Okay, you got to get them. Show them. Let's see
I'll
them.
grab them right now.
I'm curious. Thrashed and faded might be exactly the description we use in your teaser. That's perfect. I love it that we're like literally in your room, which is so special. All right,
So
give
these are all pieces that I wear. Like this is one I wear quite a bit. But this hoodie I actually got in the Midwest. It's held on by pins. It's faded. There's holes. This is pretty cool too. The sleeve
that's crazy.
is held on by pins. And the reason why I like this, if you're ever wearing like a cool watch, it'll poke through. And that's a really cool feature. I like this. But yeah, the paint. This hoodie was from 2000, so this is over 25 years old. And it's just kind of crazy. Like this was someone's piece, 25 years ago that probably painted in it, wore it out in the sun, and now it's in my hands, which is really cool.
That's crazy, but that's a capsule piece that you'll keep forever. How
Oh
much
yeah.
could you sell something like that for?
So my dad always makes fun of me because something like that, he'd be like, "Dude, that's a homeless person shirt. What are you doing with that?" But something like that, it's tough to sit like give a true value on it because it's only worth what someone's willing to pay.
It's interesting.
But something like that, I'd give a confident sell that I could probably sell that around 150 to $200.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. Yeah. What do you say to people that are like, because there are people out there who are like, you're selling trash, but it sells.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the original phrase is one man's trash is another man's treasure. I mean, there's so many people out there that are always looking for different things. They're into different stuff. So I'd say if there's a will, there's a way. You'll find someone to buy it.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, so the summer is looking bright. What other big events besides Mile High? And oh, talk about your Thursdays at CU Boulder in case we have any students listening, and we can kind of push that because I eventually see you taking that whole thing over. Is that kind of one of your goals?
We'll see. I mean, right now it's mainly monitored by the program council at CU,
Oh,
but
for like sustainability or something?
yeah, I mean, they've had some issues with people taking over in the past. So I think they were just for legal purposes trying to,
Avoid
just
that,
have
yeah.
that under their belt. But yeah, I mean, I do them every other Thursday. They haven't started just yet just because it's still kind of cold, but we
Mhm.
should start up in a few weeks. But yeah, I mean, every Thursday, or sorry, every other Thursday, it's like a big vintage pop up right outside the UMC, full of clothes, vintage, women's stuff,
How did
jewelry.
this start? I mean, it's just fascinating that they're doing this.
Yeah, I think they've been doing this for, I don't know, 5, 10 years now, and
Wow.
I started it about 2 years ago. I think my senior year of high school before I got into CU. I've been doing it since then, which is really cool.
Yeah. Gosh, I want to like, kind of understand some of the other areas we can find you. Are you going to do ThriftCon this year?
It's gonna be tough to get a table, but yeah, I'm gonna start working on that now just to secure my spot.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
Either butting up with some friends and having a bigger booth, or just me. We'll see.
Now, will you do that out of state as well? I think they're doing other areas, aren't they? I think so.
My freshman year of college, I went to Houston, Oregon, Denver, and then I think LA or one other place. But this year's tough just with school. I got so much on my plate, so I
Yeah.
definitely will do Denver. Denver's a no-brainer, but
Mhm.
um, bringing all that stuff out to other states is very cost heavy and takes a lot of time.
And talk about how you do that because that's like an all family effort when you do this. You have you talk about the uniqueness of how you show your stuff.
Yeah, my mom, she calls herself my first employee because she's a big help. She'll because I can't rent cars, so she'll rent the cars and then I'll take it out of my business expenses. But yeah, she always helps with that, or filling up her luggage with clothes to bring to different places. But yeah, it's an all team effort. So I'd say people that are trying to do the different state stuff. Um, I'd say get an employee or a
Family
partner
member,
or a friend. Yeah, just to help you out
employee.
with that stuff.
And your dad actually helped build the trailer that you use, correct? For
Yeah, and I can send you some photos too. And that's kind of like my private showroom. It's about 14 feet long, about 9 feet tall. It's all cedar wood in there, which is nice. It's got lights, it's got fans, it's got built-in racks. It's very cool.
That's awesome. I love that idea because you really have kind of, made your own like brick and mortar space that you can take on the road if you need to. You can travel with that too, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I brought it to SneakerCon actually last year,
Ooh,
which was really cool. It was tough to get in the building because I was driving the car myself and trying to angle the trailer in there, so I took a little bit, but we got it to work, and it was a really cool experience.
okay. Tell us about SneakerCon. I have no clue what this is. Tell us.
So SneakerCon actually was like really big in like 2016 to 2020. It was a big sneaker convention basically where you buy and sell shoes. And then it kind of, when the sneaker market kind of crashed, I would say, they kind of switched. They still do shoes, but they kind of switched parts of the event to, like vintage. Vintage is very big right now.
Interesting.
Um, yeah, so they hit me up and they were like, "Hey, we'd love to have you. We'll give you a discounted booth and bring your trailer and everything." And it worked out.
Come show your wares and remind people how old you are.
I'm 20. Yep.
Amazing. I can't believe it. And you think you're old at 20. That's
I'm already getting people. I mean, just my younger siblings calling me. I guess the word now is unk.
okay. That's amazing. I'm gonna have to use this trashed and faded. I'm like making notes here because that's super cute. Talk
That's
about your personal style. tell us, what are you wearing? What's hot and what's not?
Well, I mean, my style I'd say is pretty common with what's popular right now in vintage. I mean, I wear a lot of like, the old biker, gear, like the old band tees that I listen to. Like I'm a pretty big fan with Metallica, and I got this shirt actually off of a guy's back at the show, and I was like, "Hey man, I love your shirt." He's like, "Yeah, man, this is one of the original ones from '94." I was like, "Dude, how much you want for it?" And he was like, I don't know. I was like, "I'll buy you a new shirt and I'll give you some money on top." He's like, "All right." So I waited in line, got him a new shirt. He
And
took it
then you
off the
found
back.
him again in the crowd and had him take his shirt
Well,
off.
yeah, I sat kind of next to him or like near him. That's how I knew him or saw him. But yeah, and got it all on the meta glasses. He took off the shirt, handed him the shirt, and then,
Wow.
yeah.
So, and let's talk about your social media journey because, you use these meta glasses in real life. Do you have them? You got to put them on, show people.
I'll go grab him.
Yeah, we got to see them. And you're capturing these moments with literally random strangers. I've seen some of your content where, someone's eating a burrito on the side of the road and you're like, "Hey, let me buy that from you."
Yeah, I mean they're really cool. They're very discreet.
Yeah.
They do a lot of they have AI built into them. You can ask it questions.
What?
Yeah, you can ask it math questions. You can say what's in front of me. It'll tell you. It's kind of crazy.
Does that ever help you identify something that you think might be vintage, but you're not 100% sure?
I mean, I'm kind of at that stage where I know if something's vintage,
Mhm.
just by the material or stitching. I'd say the most part is like I'll find shirts. I'm like I have no idea what it is. It might be like a super niche band that was only going on for like 6 months to a year back in 1992, and they made a couple shirts. So it's like it's tough to tell like what stuff is really worth, especially like the stuff you don't find often.
Yeah. Unless it's like totally obvious and you happen to know the stitching on it.
Yeah.
Labels are super important to you too, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you're always
tags,
checking
labels, everything.
tags.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Actually, though, the other day, I was gonna ask you. You can take this out too. But I got a video of a guy at Arc, and he was wearing I can grab the shirt too. But it's a long sleeve Harley with flame hits, and I bought it off his back in the Arc.
no. Why would I take that out? That's great
I don't
information.
know. I didn't
Hey,
know if it
show
was
us the
like
shirt.
I didn't know if that was like a conflict of interest with
Oh
with
no.
Arc. But
No, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, I want you to feel welcome in our stores. It's a brand, part of our brand that we're trying to, foster. So show us the shirt. What did it look like?
yeah, I'll go. I'll go grab it.
Our warehouse guy, and I'm sure Riley knows this, Marty, and we need to have Marty on this podcast. He like is obsessed with anything Harley. So I'm sure you can't wait to wear that next time you're in our warehouse and like show off because Marty will probably try and buy it from you.
This one, I don't know. We'll see because I'm meeting up with him later this week. Because
Oh,
he's
the
got
guy that you
yeah, he's
bought
got
it
more
off of.
shirts. So in the video, he's wearing this exact shirt, and then I'm like, this shirt's from 1994. There's the back hit. This is Farmington, New Mexico, which is really cool. But yeah, he said he actually bought the shirt at an Arc like 10 years ago, and he
Wow.
said must there's been some Harley guy that died and had a bunch of shirts, so he bought them
Yeah.
all.
There's a few here in Colorado. Marty is one of them, but he's too young. So that's good. All right. So talk about your sourcing. I know you like thrift stores. Give us your favorites. Anybody new you're shopping lately that we should know about?
Yeah, thrift stores. Arc is always my number one. I feel like they have the best selection, and they always bring out stuff on a daily basis, which is awesome, especially from a reseller standpoint, because I feel like repetition and going to thrift stores like once a week won't work. You have to go multiple times a week to find
Interesting.
and
Yeah.
source those items, especially in the vintage, especially how hard it is to get now. Um, but yeah, I mean, I go to the bins a lot. That's another great way just because of how cheap it is. Um, a lot of original owners, they call them, people will hit me up to come over and check out what they have for
Wow.
me to buy. I wouldn't condone this, but there is other options. You can do, they're called bandos in the vintage community. Just going to abandoned houses and looking for old abandoned clothes that are left in the houses,
God,
which
is that
is
a thing?
it is very much a thing. It's very risky. I would definitely ask if you can find the property owner to ask permission first because
Mhm.
it is breaking and entering. But yeah, it's people people go crazy because some of these like old denim, like Levi's, like there's pairs of like, stuff from like the 1920s or 1800s that are worth, tens of thousands of dollars, and they're just sitting in these abandoned houses untouched.
Wow.
So it's free money. People are just going to go, look for that kind of stuff.
But is someone actually going to wear that pair of jeans, or is it just like to
Yeah.
have? Is it more
Yeah.
of a
Yeah. 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 Whether they be clothes or like old denim. Yeah. People wear them. They'll of course clean them first, but
yeah.
yeah, it's very much.
And I feel like I asked you this on the last pod, but let's do it again. How do you identify that really old denim? There's a couple different ways, right? There's like clues.
Yeah, let me see if I have a pair. I thought I had a pair right here. So this pair I actually did find at ARC. Um, and it sucks because the red tab is pulled off, and a red tab usually would be like right here. This
Yeah.
pair is actually from the 70s.
Mm.
You can tell mainly too by the stitching on the inside of the lined pockets.
Who knew?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. And then another thing too, this one isn't salvage denim, but a lot of times on like the older Biggie pairs from like the 60s and older, it'll be salvage denim on the inside
Mm.
lining,
Interesting.
which is like higher quality and higper grading of denim, which they don't really make now because, well, they still make it, but it's just very expensive.
Mhm.
And companies will push the cheaper stuff.
What do you think about this craze? And this is like, the new fashion stuff. It is all about this raw denim.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What,
So yeah,
what's
raw
that
raw
about?
denim, salvage denim. It's definitely getting more popular. Well, it's becoming popular again right now.
Mhm.
Just because of how hard it is to get. I mean, Levi's doesn't use raw or salvage denim anymore because it's super expensive to make.
Interesting.
Um, yeah, so I mean, if you're gonna buy a salvage pair or a raw denim pair from a company now, they're like 300-400 bucks. It's
Oh,
pretty crazy.
wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And so once those things, I mean, it's just so funny when you talk about like 94, I'm like, oh my God, that seems like yesterday to me. But that really is considered vintage, right?
Yeah, so in the clothing industry or in the vintage like scene, clothing that is 25 years and older is considered vintage.
Wow.
So 2000 and older or 2001 and older is considered vintage. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. So let's talk about how you grew your audience because you have quite the following.
Mhm.
People know you. Advice for growing an audience on social media. Somebody who's listening and going, "Oh, I do that. I can grow my audience." How do you do it?
If you're not camera shy, I'd say definitely start doing content, whether that be, the POV stuff that I like to do, or kind of doing like a vlog like Jacob Star does. Um, but if you're camera shy, just going out and networking, meet new people, get them to follow you, post consistently with, pictures and that kind of stuff. A big part of, growing is just repetition.
Yeah, consistency. I like that. What about big goals for this year? What can we expect from your content in 2026? Anything big happening?
I'm gonna try to post more often. The videos are tough to make because it doesn't happen every day that I run across that kind of stuff. But I'm definitely gonna start posting more often. Um, gonna grow my website this summer. I hired someone, so I'm gonna post a lot more
Wow.
on there.
Employees that you're actually paying. I love that.
Yep, yep, yep. So.
That's exciting. Okay, with the growth of the website though, like what's next? What's the big goal for you? What do you think? Are you going to Wall Street to do finance? Or are you going to just,
We'll
have
see. We'll see.
legend?
I still don't, I totally don't know yet. I mean, I definitely want to get my degree, whether that be finance or entrepreneurship. I definitely want to have that as my plan B, but this is kind of a good way for me to make money and get myself through school,
Yeah.
right now.
That's awesome. I think you're an inspiration to a lot of people, which is super exciting. And, hopefully we can get you to come back this summer and continue, giving us your advice. Young eyes on our business is, a positive thing. And we get to learn from you, which is really exciting. So more to come on that. Um, I know I asked you this on the last pod, but let's do it again. Do you have like that one unicorn item that you're most proud of, whether you kept it or resold it?
Yeah, I mean, I have a few. I'd say I'll have to bring it down to two. I got this one jacket. It's the same exact jacket that was worn in the movie Fear and Loathing. And it was an Abercrombie and Fitch patch jacket from the 60s, and it has all these like different colored patches, different material patches. The correct term for it is a Abercrombie and Fitch safari jacket. They're pretty expensive, but I found that for I think
Wow,
$5.99. And I sold it for 1,300 the next day.
that's crazy.
Yeah. And then the other thing, this was probably my best come up of all time. This is before I had the glasses. Was me going to a yard sale one day in June, and there's no clothes at it. And I started saying, hey, you got any old clothes or clothing that you guys want to sell? And the guy kind of looked at me like I was an idiot, and he was like, dude, I used to be a salesman for this t-shirt company back in the 90s. I have a bunch of it. And I'm like, let's go see. So
Go.
we walked into his shed, which is going to sound a little weird. We walked into his shed. He opens up the thing, and this is like a big, it's basically a warehouse. Opens up his garage, and there's like boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes. It was all, I probably picked up about 1,000 to 1,500 t-shirts, and they were all brand new with tags. And he gave me a great price on all of it because his wife was like, dude, get rid of, like,
Get it
we've had
out. Yeah.
for 30 years, get rid of it, get it gone. So he gave me a great price. I bought it all. I'm still in contact with him today. We still talk because he knows what I do, and he loves it. So
Yeah. I mean, and you kind of saved a piece of history that would have just gone to ruin in his
yeah, I
garage.
mean, a lot of t-shirts that don't get worn, especially like the black, the dyes will
Hmm.
eat away at the garment. So they call it dry rot, and it'll just disintegrate the shirts if you don't wear them.
And it's so fascinating to me that you know all of this and that I mean, it's just such an interesting hobby to have to be into like the ink and the dye and the stitching of things. It's fascinating. Do you think that ultimately you'll be in business doing these kinds of things no matter what it looks like? You think it'll ultimately be where you land?
I think I'll always have my like I'm a big people person, so I'm always gonna have that of like going up to people, you know, and working with business. But I don't know. We'll see how big this gets in the next year or two with my website. Because if it keeps growing, might as well stick with it if it's making good money. But
Yeah.
if not, I mean, there's always other avenues in business, whether that be finance or
Yeah, sky's the
entrepreneurship.
limit, Riley. I hope you just stay in touch with us and keep shopping our stores. That's like all I would hope that you do.
Always.
And we just got the date. We're definitely opening San Antonio. So
Oh, there you go. There you go.
yeah.
Might have to make some videos down there for you guys.
Yeah,
That'd be
maybe we bring you down there. That is actually one of the other things I wanted to ask you about. You do some influencer videos for us that are so valuable to us. For someone like you talking about, this is a great find and I like this store, it's more valuable to me than, my team making a video. What's your advice to maybe young influencers out there in building a relationship with your local thrift store?
Yeah, so I'd say for people that are in the fashion and thrift scene, yeah, again, just going consistently, meeting the manager, meeting employees.
Mhm.
A lot of employees too are really cool. Like they'll know if you go enough, they'll know like what you kind of look for. So
Yeah.
they'll be like, hey, I found this yesterday. Is this something you'd want? And just building a relationship. That's key.
Yeah, you're definitely a people person and liked by many, which is super helpful. But hopefully, this inspires somebody who's a little more shy to get out of their comfort zone and just like, approach someone on the street.
Hmm.
Who knows?
Yeah.
You told us Jacob Starr. Who else should we be following on social media? Anybody, new to the scene that you're like really enjoying their content?
I'd say honestly, Arc does a great job of bringing influencers to that scene. So yeah, I'd say just look at their videos and kind of see what influencer kind of entertains you the most. I'd say. I mean, eh, yeah, I think that's the best. Just going through and seeing because Jacob Star for me, I mean, I know him personally, but I watched his videos when I was like 10 years old, and I'm
Yeah,
just like,
he's your
whoa,
hero. I love
yeah,
it.
yeah. So.
And don't be afraid to tag your local thrift store. That's
Oh yeah.
kind of our favorite thing, is like when somebody new who's coming up in this scene, we're like, oh my gosh, they're shopping our store. Or I see someone who's like filming in our store and I am served their content on TikTok. I'm like, oh, we got to reach out to them to be on the pod. So it's all a great community. And I'm happy that you're part of it, Riley. Thanks for what you do for us and for this vintage lifestyle.
Of course. Yeah.
We're super grateful, and there's more to come. We may have you back this summer, because who knows, let's go down and do a live pod down in San Antonio this summer. Who
That would
knows?
be
That's,
really cool. That'd be really
yeah,
cool.
unless you end up on Wall Street, and then we'll come visit you in New York. So
Did you want to talk about sustainability or
yeah,
yeah?
girl, do it.
Yeah, so I just wrote a paper in school about stability and actually ARC and the bins and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm big on secondhand and keeping the stuff out of our landfills. That's kind of like our key thing, because our kids or my kids and my grandkids are gonna live on this earth, and the amount of waste is astronomical. It's crazy.
Wow.
So
Yes, tell us about the paper. Now I need to know. You need to
yeah,
say
so
it
I
quick.
did a lot of research, a lot of quotes, a lot of
Wow.
citations. Um, the craziest thing in a single T-shirt, like a cotton T-shirt that you're wearing right now. I mean, what do you think like resources would be to make that?
Oh my God, it's a ton of water. I know that.
It's 2,700 liters of water to make one single
Insane.
cotton T-shirt. That's enough water for like one person to drink over 2 years. So
Put it in that perspective, that's even crazier.
exactly. So I mean, when you're for me at least, when I'm reselling, clothing, garments, and stuff like that. I mean, I've probably sold over 10,000 pieces, not
Yeah.
probably more. And the amount of water and waste that I've saved by giving those items a second home, is pretty cool.
Yeah, something to be proud of. Now, let me ask you, your community that buys from you, and you have a lot of like repeat customers that are like super, super loyal to you. They're like,
Yeah.
and they can call you and go, oh, I'm looking for this, and you can either find it or, kind of do commission work. Does that crowd care about the sustainability as well? Talk about that.
Yeah, so I interviewed quite a few people at my
Hmm.
pop-ups, including sellers, and yeah, so I had people come by, and I was like, hey, why do you shop at these? Why do you shop at thrift stores? And I got a lot of students just saying, oh, it's cheaper. I'm balling on
Yeah.
a budget, which is totally fine. But then I had a lot of people too tell me, I like it because it's cheap. I like the clothing because it's unique. Um, and I'm helping the environment. Fast fashion, the amount of waste is crazy, and the quality too from stuff that's secondhand and back then it was a lot better.
Wow. I love that that's like part of your thesis, the sustainability piece is important to you. Thanks for keeping me on track there, Riley. That was awesome. What else you want to share with our guests?
Trying to think.
Oh, what are you manifesting these days? What are you looking to find the next time you're out, doing your thing?
You know, gold.
Ah,
Anything. No, I mean,
wait, do you thrift that kind of stuff too? Do you look at jewelry and
yeah. I mean,
watches and
it's tough now because I feel like with gold prices
yeah,
and uh and that whole thing, people are really looking through their stuff before they donate.
yeah, they're
Um,
taking it to
yeah,
like
so it's really really hard to find now. But yeah, I have found a few pocket watches that were gold and
oh wow.
rings and stuff like that. So
So what do you want to put out in the universe? What are you looking to find the next time you're, source?
I want to find some blue gold, they call it. And that's the old Levi denim.
Oh,
That stuff's worth some crazy money now.
blue gold. That's what they call it.
Yeah, I mean, a pair. I think it was over the summer. A pair from like the 1800s, like 1880s, 1890s buckle back Levi sold for like over $100,000.
Wow.
So
That's amazing. Okay, blue gold and would you call it, trashed and faded? These are
thrashed and faded. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
wow.
yeah, and that's another reason too. I mean, blue gold. That's another reason why people go to abandoned houses, because back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, they used denim as insulation for inside their walls. So I mean,
Interesting.
my buddy has he does a lot of that kind of content, and he literally was ripping denim just out of the wall,
You're
and he found
kidding.
like 17 pairs, and it was like came out to like $150,000 worth of denim he found.
Okay, that's interesting. We have been approached for our denim for, sustainable, like eco green friendly contractors that are using insulation, but they like shred it up and stuff. You're talking about an actual intact pair of jeans.
Yeah, I mean yeah, there has been shredded up times, but yeah, they would just clump up old pairs and push it in the wall, and then they
Wow.
would board it up.
Okay, if you ever do this, don't recommend, but like you've got to film it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll always get permission first. It's not worth
Yeah.
risking getting a trespass or going to jail,
Yeah.
or breaking in or anything. But yeah, I mean, yeah, if I ever run across that kind of stuff, I'll definitely get it on my POVs.
Yeah. And I'm curious if you see a video like that, please send it my way. I'd be curious to see. I mean, there's just a lot of talk about denim right now, this raw denim craze coming back. I'm curious if that's going to spike the prices up too.
Yeah, I mean, especially in the Japanese community, or just in Japan, they go crazy for that kind of stuff. So
Still, wow. Okay.
yeah, they pay a premium too. So I mean, I have some Japanese connects that will come out here when I find old denim or old clothing that they're looking for, and then they'll bring it back to Japan because it's very big over there with like
Interesting.
Western and older denim and that kind of stuff.
Western wear. Yes.
Mm.
All right. On the Western wear, our friend Dolly Parton, did you know she just turned 80?
That doesn't look like it. That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
So crazy. And, a reminder to our listeners, we always do a shout out to Dolly Parton because she's my personal hero and a unifier. And Riley has always played along with this concept. And any chance you found anything Dolly Parton related for me yet in your
I'm
hunt?
looking. I'm really looking. I'm really looking. So no, who knows? Maybe one day you'll open your door and you'll see something on your chair. You never know.
Oh, bring it to my office. That's what they like to do. Yeah. What do you think of our new setup, Riley? We tried to, encapsulate the queen as much as possible.
It's very cool. I see a lot of ET and Dolly. It's very
All the things that bring me life, bring me joy.
That's cool.
When you do find that one item, which it'll happen in all of your hunts and your sourcing and your basement dwelling, you're going to find me that like vintage crazy dolliness. So it's coming.
Yeah, I feel like when I find it, it'll be your best item for sure.
Oh, okay. We'll put on display. We'll do a whole podcast about it. And I'm grateful that you're into her and you understand how important she is to this podcast and just the world. I mean, who doesn't love the queen? She really is a philanthropist, all the things. She's like changing lives, and she's got a new song coming out with one of your faves, Queen Latifah. Just kidding around. She's got like three different, I think it's like Miley Cyrus, Queen Latifah, and somebody else. She's doing a song for a children's hospital out there in Tennessee. So
that's cool.
Only good things from Dolly Parton, right?
It's crazy she's still singing at 80 years old. That's really, really impressive.
Yeah. Pretty nice that she's like giving her star to other people too on the rise, like Miley. So
yeah.
Also
cool.
her goddaughter. Did you know this?
I did not know that. That's wow. That's crazy.
Really? These are important pieces of information. Yes. Billy Ray Cyrus's daughter, Miley. That's her goddaughter. Interesting fun facts. Well, Riley, you're a delight. Tell our listeners again how they find you, follow you, and buy from you.
Yeah, my Instagram and all my other handles are the same. They're legend_vintage_. And then my website is legendvintage.com. You can buy from there or buy from me in person. Just shoot me a DM.
And if you see him at a store, make sure you say hi and get a selfie with him. Tag Arc Thrift Stores if you post it. Thanks, Riley. Appreciate your time today.
Of course. Thank you.
And Thrifties, thanks so much for tuning in once again to the Get Thrifty podcast. Reminder, save our pod and leave us a 5-star review about how funny, creative, and smart we are. And if you're part of this unique thrift culture, we'd love to have you on this pod. You can find me on Instagram at Podcast with Maggie. And of course, follow Arc on Instagram at Arc Thrift, now on TikTok at Arc Thrift Stores, and of course, on YouTube at Arc Thrift. Thanks so much and have a wonderful week.
Find it, make it your own. It's the Get Thrifty Podcast.